Yes. Yeah. So I have this is Kal Kat, and I have the DVD 10 season box set of the cartoon Ninja Turtles, which started in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which started in 1987 and ran until 1997. So it's the original series. Under 2 or 3 incarnations all the way to 97. It was put out by New Line and 2 other groups. Earlier, it was later versions were put out by Deke. It stars the cast, some people from voice actors from Robotech, some voice actors from G.I. Joe, and some from Transformers, as well as from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Nostalgia Critic already did a review of the serial. I don't need to show clips from it because I'd probably get flagged, so I won't. It was a cartoon series that started in the 80s, about the same time as Transformers was waning a little bit. It took off on the video market and was played over and over again by everyone's little brother or nephew at the time. Not so much by me or my clique, because we were into Transformers and we were 16 and we were like, oh, this isn't cool enough. It's not Transformers or G.I. Joe or something. We even thought G.I. Joe was a little stupid. So we weren't really into Ninja Turtles when it aired, but everybody's little kid brother or somebody was totally into it. And yeah, so this cartoon started out. I'm only really going to review the first disc because you can go and rent the whole thing if you want. They didn't even put it on DVD until just a couple of years ago, so for the anniversary. But they 2007, I think. Yeah. But the show was drawn in the style of the 1990s G.I. Joe, so it looks like Deke a little bit. It took place 2.5 years before the movie, and in its own universe was actually quite a bit sillier than the comic book. I was more familiar with the comic book, actually, thanks to Tim and some others who had read the comic books and graphic novels and said, oh, this is way darker in the graphic novels. And they were starting to also put together a movie, the live action Ninja Turtles movie, which I've reviewed before. But yeah, the TV show was quite a bit sillier and campier, very much like the second Ninja Turtles movie, actually, and the third a little bit. The first 4 episodes were basically an introduction to the cast, sort of like they used to do with those serial stories for Transformers. They did like one of those, several part episode story arc, and then jump into the series with singular episodes. And they did that with G.I. Joe as well. So they put together this Ninja Turtles New Line thing, and it was very silly and immature and stuff. I think it was meant for 8 to 12 or 13-year-olds. It wasn't meant for literally the kids watching G.I. Joe and Transformers were a little older than the 8 and 12-year-olds. But when G.I. Joe and Transformers started, they were approaching 12 and 13 and 14. So they were like, oh, yeah, this isn't cool. Their little brother likes it. Little kids can watch it. So, they're supposed to be ninjas. And ninjas was ninjas and samurai and things like that. Kung fu movies and things like that. Really big over there in the 80s. There were all kinds of them. The funny thing is about ninjas is they're supposed to be assassins, so they would actually go around killing people. But of course, for a kid's cartoon, they couldn't do that. Also, turtles are deaf, so they couldn't hear anybody. But we'll forgive them that. Also, turtles are quite well endowed, but they didn't show that either. Yes. But the Ninja Turtles are it starts out in New York, and they have the premise, kind of from the comic book a little bit, is that these 2 rival senseis are they got Splinter and the Shredder, and Splinter was supposed to be the student of Shredder when he was another guy before, which they kind of mixed up in the Michael Bay movie. Yeah, the Michael Bay's Friend movie, which came out, but not in the live action 1989 or 90 movie. They knew what they were doing when they did that one. But and they got confused because when they saw the little girl drop the turtles into the sewer, so they watched the cartoon. They didn't realize that wasn't supposed to be April. So in the Michael Bay produced movie, that's not April O'Neil. That's someone else. It's in the cartoon. It's not her either. It's just someone else. But they wanted to make some weird familial connection there. And they also made Shredder a white guy in the Michael Bay movie, and that's dumb. The cartoon, he's Japanese. And Splinter is supposed to be a Japanese guy that gets turned into a rat because he touches the mutagen, and he turns into a rat. And they turn in from box turtles into tortoises, and then into turtle ninjas. And he trains them. Splinter and the Turtles. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael. Yes, it wasn't long before I started training in martial arts at that point. Maybe the show kind of inspired that. Anyway, the Ninja Turtles took off like crazy. It was a big deal. And this cartoon was surreal. There was like a brain called Krang. He was in it, and he wanted a body so he could be like have a body. He was a living brain with tentacles. And Shredder was wearing the Darth Vader-y looking thing, even in the cartoon. April O'Neil was basically a sort of cartoon hottie. She like a cross between the original Transformers Harley, who wasn't really that hot. She was just okay, and Lady J and Scarlet from G.I. Joe. So she's basically like Scarlet, but she's a reporter, and she wears this yellow jumpsuit the whole time, and she's busty. I guess because they figured the young boys would be the target audience. So there's ooh, girl with boobies, ah, and there's a lot of unexpected like gags in there that you don't notice when you were like 12 or 13 and even 16. You notice now, including one of them trying to untie her, the turtle guy, and he's like, thump, and he puts his hand right there on one of them, and he's like, damn. It's like, but yeah, oh my goodness. And they kept suggesting like she's hanging out with him for a week and a half under the sewers. Like, why? Well, it's because of that turtle endowment thing, I think. No, it isn't. But for some reason, she would smell really bad. Okay. Yeah, down in the sewer and hanging out with turtle mutants to stop the Shredder. The Shredder and Baxter Stockman and all that. The Nostalgia Critic pointed out that on the video, they showed it backwards so that Baxter Stockman, Rat King, and Mousers was reversed, so they start mentioning him before it happens in the other episode. But on the DVD, it is corrected. Actually, the later videotapes, it was corrected, too. Just like on that first McDonald's one you got from like the Deke people was wrong. FHE was actually Family Home Entertainment. They got it wrong. After that, they fixed it. So it wasn't a problem. FHE did the videos originally. Yeah, the late FHE. Whatever happened to them? But the idea is solid enough, I guess. Ninja Turtles. They all have powers. You know, they have like superpowers. They all have different weapons, and not a drop of blood is ever spilled. This cartoon is very G-rated. They crack jokes and stuff that don't make much sense, and at one point they encounter these hot-rodding teenagers from Dimension X, or they did once more, but it's like, and I noticed something that I didn't notice as a teenager watching this, when I watched it again, is that all they did with the neutrinos is they sped up their voices. It's actually the same voice actors, or very similar voice actors, and they just hiked up sped them up like chipmunks a little bit. So it's like Susan Blue or somebody from Transfer. It sounded like Susan Blue. And she's playing Kala, the neutrino, and they sped up her voice a little bit so it wouldn't sound as old, but it just makes her sound like one of the chipmunks from Alvin and the Chipmunks. It doesn't work. And she's all like, "Oh, Donatello, yeah!" It's like, oh my god, what do they do? And the neutrino boys are cracking these jokes that are from the 50s. Because you figure the people writing this show probably from the 50s. And they're like, yeah, I remember as a kid, people said daddy-o all the time. And, yo, man, groovy daddy-o. It's like, no, nobody in the 80s says that. I mean, they're from another dimension, but still, I like the 50s there. And the rock men were clearly the rock lords from the GoBots. But yeah, and one of them was Peter Lorre, or somebody imitating him. And he was all like, hey, yes, master. So there's a lot of little horror elements in there, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's really cheesy. It's obviously for children. Nostalgia Critic went on more about it, trying to analyze all of the nuances. He didn't have to. It's pretty obvious what's going on. And even Baxter Stockman, the rat guy who makes the Mousers, pretty obvious. I mean, and they couldn't kill any humans, so all of the Foot Clan in this version, they're all robots, like in G.I. Joe, the Bats. They look like Battle Android Troopers. So it's like, wow, this show is like, they should have had a crossover, Transformers and Ninja Turtles, or G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles. If it didn't happen, it should have happened, because that would have been awesome. But yeah, the comic book was darker, and they were more obnoxious. The graphic novel was quite a bit darker, actually. There was a little bit of blood in it, and stuff. And betrayal and stuff like that. It was kind of messed up. But yeah, they sort of addressed that in the later seasons. I'm just exploring the first disc. I'm not going to do all the discs as a review, just the first one. That was Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the series, the cartoon series. Season 1 disc. I just decided to review it. Just for whatever, for kicks. Dude, awesome. And they're re-releasing the Ninja Turtle figures out there on the market to 2012 and 2014 and this year. So, yeah, eBay fans out there, be aware that almost all of those on eBay, where they're like, I have an original, original guy here. It's not. It's a new re-release from either 2012, even 2007 did a release of them, for the 20th anniversary. So there's 2007, 2012. Look at the bottom of the foot. It'll say what year it is. And it's going to be a ripoff, because it's not the original ones. Yeah, those would be worth a lot. And what's weird is they didn't reissue April O'Neil yet, which is odd. I mean, they released Bebop and Rocksteady. I got a copy of them there. The newer ones. But the other ones. The new show on Nickelodeon spurred them on to launch the old ones over again, which the people at Star Trek should totally do. They should get the Playmates over there back and reissue for the 50th anniversary of Trek. I don't know why they don't. It's coming up. They should get a deal with them. Say, we're going to re-release all of the Star Trek figures and introduce new ones as well, and you get to buy them. There's all the ones you didn't get, box sets and whatever. They should just totally go crazy with that. And ships and models. And then let them market so that they're cheaper to buy. I guess because the show's not on anymore. But put a new show on. But yeah, Ninja Turtles, because it still is on and it's still big, it's going to be better. Hopefully, Michael Bay Ninja Turtles 2 will not be as grievously awful. However, the first one isn't that bad. It's just not quite what clearly the fans intervened and complained, and they fixed stuff while they were going. Like, oh, they're not aliens, and oh, they're not this and that. And, oh, the mutagen and all that stuff. Yeah, they just didn't do it right. And what's funny is, in the cartoon, in the movie, the Michael Bay one from last year, 2014, they made them rapper guys or something. But they made fun of that in the cartoon. That was a joke in the cartoon, that they were dressed like rappers. They should have realized that scene was a joke. It's clearly played for laughs. They dressed up like rappers. They're like, look at us, we're MC Hammer or something. Because it was back then, And April O'Neil walks up to them and goes, take that stuff off, you look stupid. It's like, so but they didn't get that. And there's some funny jokes in there. And it's funny that the Shredder is the guy from Fresh Prince, and that he's be hilarious to overdub the dialogue from either show. I will destroy the turtles when he talks to Will Smith. It'd be funny. What? What are you talking about? The turtles? And you're tripping. But yeah, I'm crying. I want a body, Mr. Shredder. I was not the voice of Krang, although I did a pretty good imitation. You have to find me in the show, of course. But I wasn't in the show, actually. I'm kidding. It was not Cam Clark. No, that's Max Sterling from Star Trek. Robotech. No, that wasn't me. And no, I was not Baxter Stockman. That was somebody else. I was not in it. I just do voices similar to it. I'm not in it. Yes.